Hello chess fans, today's video I'm going to look at a rapid game I played against a 2050. So this is an opponent I've played many times before, so we've had many games in e4, e5, so I decided to mix things up and play e6. My opponent decided to go for d4, I went for d5, they went knight d2, and here I played what this channel is famous for, this move e5. And okay, my opponent clearly, even though I've played them many times before, did not watch the channel because, okay, I have a lot of videos on this. And so they went for the most natural line. So actually in another blitz game recently, I had this line happen over the board. My opponent did know this. Oh, I played queen d7, but I guess knight e5 is just losing. Oh wait, no, I didn't play queen d7 then. I think I played queen d8. And okay, yeah, knight e5 is winning, but I had knight b3 in the game. Then I went for knight f6. Oh no, I don't think my opponent actually went for bishop c4. Yeah, I think my opponent went knight b3, I went knight c6, they went takes. And then I took queen takes and knight f6. And this is how that game went. That was a blitz game. But okay, here my opponent went for d takes e5, which is the most natural move. I took here. And here you have to know bishop takes, bishop b5 check, c6, and then this move, bishop c4. And this is sort of the best line to get advantage against this line. I'm not really sure black is equalizing here. I mean, bishop f5, maybe black gets close, but here looks a little bit unpresent here. Knight g6 and then e6. Then after takes like here, knight f6, maybe we preserve it. But okay, the line gets complicated, but he went for knight takes e4, which is the most natural move. Look, I'm up a pawn and my knight's in the center. How can this be bad? It's bad because your king is stuck in the center. Now I go knight c6, attacking the pawn. And believe it or not, he's like going to lose very soon from here, even though it looks like a seemingly just bad position. Like, okay, he has a pawn in the center, and he has up a pawn, and he has a knight in the center, and development is equal. But here he went f4, and now I go f6. Now this f4 move looks pretty useless because it just blocks the bishop, right? So already this position is not so good anymore. So what you really had to do, instead of, actually after f4 this is fine, but now you just have to sack the pawn. And after bishop g4, for example, just go bishop e2, and then something like this could happen, and the position is roundabout even. So, or, okay, takes here is better. And then after check, bishop d2, takes, I guess, okay, here he's actually keeping his pawn. So this is also another good line. But he went for f4, takes. And now this position is actually quite good for black because I'm just going to go with a quick bishop g4, and then I'm going to go for queenside castles. And I have a lot of activity here. Okay, so we went for bishop e2. And here I actually forgot my lines. Here I should really go for this move bishop c5 or h5. Bishop c5 with the idea that my king can come here. For example, bishop c5 here. Or at least I have king here. And now the bishop's out. Or king f8. And there's no bishop h6. He can't play that move because his f-pawn is here. So one of those two moves, or h5 just simply stopping bishop g4 outright. Both of these are reasonable. Maybe keeping my bishop more flexible. Okay, so bishop e2. I went for bishop h5, which is actually just a bad move because it allows bishop h5, and then I had to go king d7, and now he can go for this move knight f3. And notice my rook can just never come to e8, and this bishop is actually doing a really good job. But this is very unnatural, to be honest. So he instead went knight e2 so that his bishop can come back. I went rook d8, aligning with the king. He went c3, so that if I go king c8, he has king c2. Or sorry, not king c2. He's just preventing knight d4 here. Notice that if he went for bishop d2, this is also preventing knight b4. So it was actually a better move. But he went c3 here, and now he went king d1. So here maybe his last chance was to go here, but I think he was worried about this, threatening this. And then if like king c1, at least I have bishop b4, right? And then there's no way to defend g2. He can't go rook g1. He can't go g3. He can go bishop f3, but then, okay, then I get all my pieces active, and sure everyone can see why I'm winning here. I guess this is more accurate here, and then h5, h4, and if takes I always have here, and then he's just getting mated. So yeah, lots of threats. Like if you want to see the mate there, check here, and then checkmate, and like just out of nowhere it's checkmate. So yeah, you just have a lot of activity here, so you didn't want to do that. So instead, already this position is incredibly hard to defend. So he went king e1. Instead, now I go bishop c5. Now you can't go king f2. Because if he had king f2, like king f2, king f3, like maybe he's not doing so badly. Now he went a4 because, okay, what else do? You don't have a move, really. And his idea was to go b4, b5. So I went a5, just stopping that. If he goes here, I just take it. Again, g4 is just the engine's move, just loses the exchange, at least. Right? That's, at minimum, it loses the exchange. So obviously, okay, you know, my opponent being up a pawn, they don't want to lose the exchange. But, okay, maybe they have to at this point. They went for bishop f3, which, okay, now allows my rook to get to e8. So I just bring my final piece into the game, and now all my pieces are nicely developed and going to attack his king. Now, honestly, after here, I didn't exactly see a full win. Like, my plan was go bishop d3, and then if rook d1 I have here, he has to go rook a1 to protect his pawn, and then, okay, I thought I was going to think about the position, maybe double, but the important thing to note is that white doesn't have a move. If he ever moves here, then I just take the bishop. So he can't move the king. If he ever moves the rook, I mean, okay, where's the rook going? Okay, if he moves any of these pawns, it doesn't do anything, so I can just improve. So yeah, I just basically knew that I had all the time in the world. But instead of that, after rook h8, he went b3, which is just a blunder, after bishop c2 with a double threat of rook d1 and here. And my opponent thought they were covering both threats with bishop a3, but actually pretty instantly I played takes, and then rook d1, king f2, and rook takes h1, and here I'm up a rook. And actually at this point we were playing a 15-minute game, I think, or maybe a 20-minute game. I can't remember the exact time control, but my opponent had used maybe like more than half their time. Like I think they spent probably 10 minutes. And then at this point I had more time than I started with. So that was kind of one of the challenges I wanted to do in this game, which was that after the opening I realized, okay, I know all the lines like pretty well. Like I knew the position up till bishop e2. So I knew the position up till here, which is move 10. But I also know that, okay, the ideas are pretty easy. Like just bring the rooks to the center, develop the pieces. It's just such a nice position. And I think it's a really, really, really underrated line. So yeah, that's it in today's video, guys. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and check out my other video on this Gambit, which I will probably link somewhere in the video at some point. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one.